Hello friends, we're here in Rotterdam and today we're going to get acquainted with an event called Object. It's worth mentioning that the event is fairly young. It was held for the first time in 2017. Naturally, there was a break due to the pandemic, so it's still very much in its development stage. The event is dedicated to collectible original design and young designers. Here, people are given a chance to express themselves. So make yourselves comfortable. The topic, I think, is a very interesting one. And don't forget to give us a like straight away. For young designers, so the event takes place across 5 floors of the former Rotterdam Library. By the way, that's quite a stroke of luck, because the building itself is rather interesting. It's a typical example of modernism, with, in my opinion, even some elements of postmodernism. Both the exterior and the interior provide quite a favourable backdrop for the work of these designers, these young talents. And here, really, either I'm just in a good mood, or the things themselves are genuinely quite pleasant. I like the project that uses old scaffolding to create furniture, and not just furniture, but also lighting fixtures. It looks rather attractive. The idea itself isn't new, but here the execution is genuinely very decent. All the items are very well crafted. All the joints are done properly. All in all, it really looks respectable. A charming, though decorative project, recreating models out of wire of buildings destroyed during the bombings of the Second World War. I can't quite recall, was it? I either met this very artist, or it's another artist working in a similar style. The previous one was at Dutch Design Week in Eindhoven. Well, in general, these objects really do look rather impressive. They could decorate a luxurious living room, perhaps for less luxurious spaces as well. But still, again, from the point of view of the idea, I found it quite interesting. This is a project for corner decor. That is, our corners are always empty. Everyone tries to fill them somehow, but it doesn't always work out well. And here, overall, the idea is rather playful and charming. Well, I suppose it would be quite suitable for children's rooms. A very unusual project, using stained glass techniques. Again, in interior objects, in decorative interior pieces. And also, in my opinion, purely decorative items look quite good as well. These are various wall panels, created in a very vivid graphic style, using different materials. That is, there's wood, paper, and even felt among them. And overall, it conveys a certain mood, in my opinion. And perhaps, again, it might seem a bit obvious, somewhere in children's rooms. But even in minimalist interiors, I think, if used sparingly, it can look rather good. Well, in general, as you may recall, upcycling is a very popular trend in the Netherlands, and indeed throughout Northern Europe, including Scandinavia. I was recently at the Stockholm Design Days, and of course a great deal of attention is paid to this topic there as well. So here, in addition to furniture made from former scaffolding, there's also quite a charming project that uses street grates. These are usually drainage grates, storm drains. Here, they've been collected and painted, again in bright colours, and they've created various items that can be used outdoors, that is, outside, on terraces, for decorating public spaces of some sort. But there's nothing stopping you from using them, again, perhaps in public spaces and indoors as well. Another topic that concerns public spaces, and to some extent residential ones too, is how to decorate convectors and radiators. And there have already been quite a lot of such projects. People have made benches out of radiators and have come up with various screens as well. And here, in my opinion, there's a charming idea to turn this convector into a little sofa, a heated sofa. Somewhere, again, mainly for public spaces, this could work perfectly well. But when it comes to upcycling, I have my own measure. Me personal opinion. Would I want something like this for myself, in my own interior, or at the very least, would I allow such things in my spaces? And, for example, furniture like this made from shuttering, or furniture made from scaffolding, could well be acceptable. But things made from garden hoses, of course, as an idea, are amusing, interesting, and noteworthy. But for some reason, I just wouldn't want those in my own home. And what do you think about this? Of course, there are plenty of debatable things here as well, but the density of original ideas is quite high. In my opinion, it's higher than it was at that very Dutch Design Week. Here, on the second floor, I like the project by a young lady who uses saddle leather to create interior objects. Again, these can be pieces of furniture or some small items like little vases. And of course, the lamp looks rather original. Moreover, it's a combination of quite a technological graphic glass and the natural texture of leather. She cuts it by hand, soaks it in water, and then gives it its final shape. The leather accordingly dries and holds this shape so tightly that even the glass lampshade doesn't fall out. And to go alongside these lamps, there is also a handy little switch. I also find the collection of items made from hand-blown glass and rough wood absolutely delightful. And this particular wood is, well, quite something. Historic, meaning these are some found beams, and they too are transformed. The items, shelves, benches, look great on the glass bricks, as do the lamps. And the stole is rather lovely as well. It somehow reminded me of my childhood. Decorative objects that use prismatic glass, creating an effect similar to those so-called iridescent calendars that everyone had somewhere in the 1980s. It looks very decorative, again perfect for minimalist interiors. I think these are really brilliant pieces. They are quite expensive, but on the other hand, you don't need many of them. And this is already collectible design, so it's quite possible that its value will go up. There are also quite a few experiments with ceramics on display. Some are rather dull, some are quite tongue-in-cheek. So far, I haven't liked any of them. That is, again, if I apply my own personal filter. Historically, the Dutch have also worked very well with glass. There were a couple of things I liked, some less so, well, because we've already seen plenty of similar things before. It should be noted that the event is very popular with the locals. Today is Sunday, but the whole hall is packed, and judging by the exhibition's Instagram, on previous days there was even a queue stretching several hundred litres. Well, it seems they're showing good design here then. The locals are voting with their time by attending this event. There's one topic that's almost not worth importing or exporting this concrete product. A couple of projects here that are worth paying attention to. The first one is, naturally, sanitary ware. So the items here are quite utilitarian, but I like the texture. It's rather unusual, and the colour palette is, you could say, even typical for the Netherlands. The second project is wall decor. Essentially, it's a kind of three-dimensional textured tile, also made from concrete in various colours and different shapes. But what I found interesting were the panels that are made using, let's say, gravity. That is, first they're mixed, cast, shaped, and then suspended to set under the force of gravity. As a result, no two are alike, and in this sense, nature itself, our very being, becomes a co-author of these decorative pieces. A rather charming lamp with a kinetic element in the form of a peacock's tail. We've already seen it in principle. Here, the creator is present next to their piece and demonstrates it, as they say, in action. I also found the acrylic cubes rather amusing. So essentially, it's wall decor once again. But the idea is that the female creator places a coloured mesh inside. And depending on the level at which it's positioned, you get a different sort of gradient effect. And for some reason, it's precisely this display that attracts the visitor's attention, more than any other. But my attention was caught by another one. It's a project by some people who generally work with ceramics. Well, their ceramics are rather unusual as well, but they have a separate series of objects made from compressed old either magazines or books, I'm not quite sure. So it's a bit like papier-mâché in reverse. but it looks rather textured. And actually, it somewhat resembles the pattern of natural stone, which all in all is probably not a bad thing either, because these patterns are now in the spotlight at the moment. It's worth noting the democratic nature of the exhibition. This lies in the fact that there's no sort of hierarchy by floors here. When I was at the collectible exhibition in Brussels, you could really feel it there. On the ground floor were the coolest people, the biggest displays, and then it went downhill from there. And according, the youngest talents were somewhere up on the top floors. Here, everything's mixed together. Here, young talents are on both the ground floor and the first floor. And they're standing right next to some already established masters. And the second point is precisely that. Here, at every display, the creators themselves are present. And again, for them, these young prodigies, new talents, as well as those who are already quite established. Because, for example, we've seen Teun Zwet's work many times at Dutch Design Week, in Paris, and honestly, those log pieces have been everywhere. But I saw Teun Zwet himself here for the first time, and he's here on a weekend, chatting with visitors. I think that's really brilliant. In terms of range, the design on show is as broad as it gets. Here you'll find clothing, footwear, and a huge variety of objects. Some are on the borderline with art, or in fact are art themselves. And then there are some really amusing things, whose only function really is just to entertain. They don't serve any other purpose at all. Oh, and by the way, I really like the little lamps with ginkgo leaf-shaped shades. They look really charming, although, to be honest, in some ways it might be a bit derivative, because something similar can be found at the famous Dutch brand by Marcel Wanders. Textiles, of course, are a very traditional craft in Flanders. And naturally, young designers here are experimenting as well. Sometimes with quite a bit of success, sometimes rather primitively. The same goes for felt, that's here as well. There are some items, some are rather primitive, while others are quite interesting in terms of technique, execution and concept. But overall, everything is very, very respectable. By the way, there are wooden items too, quite charming in their own right. I was particularly taken with a collection of screens made from hand-assembled veneer. And it's not marquetry technique, by the way. They've actually layered it onto a wooden structure. This wooden veneer, again, the pieces are quite irregular, which gives it a rather poetic look, I must say. And of course, I must mention another craft that's very popular in the Netherlands, and that's an extremely modern craft, 3D printing. In fact, the Dutch were probably pioneers of this technology, particularly in its application for creating interior objects and exploring the potential of this technology, specifically in this area. And of course, there are items on display here as well, both printed from plastic and from clay, some large and some not so large. Naturally, light fittings are also made using this technology. Generally speaking, I can't say I saw anything particularly extraordinary here, but you could say it's already in the DNA of Dutch design, so it would be impossible not to mention it. And aside from the techniques, crafts and materials already mentioned, of course, there are also plenty of metal objects. Metal, in principle, is currently in the spotlight. I mean specifically as 100% all-encompassing material for creating interior items. That is, this applies to furniture as well as to lighting fixtures. Here, various projects are presented, differing in both aesthetics and technology, and again in the types of metal used. And once again, upcycling is not left out here either. Armchairs made from supermarket trolleys. Only a Dutch designer could have come up with that. Friends, I must say, I really enjoyed the exhibition. I liked the piece, I really did. It was quite a strong selection. I liked how everything was concentrated in one place. It's a good alternative to Dutch Design Week because there are so many venues there. They're scattered about, and often there's some complete rubbish on display that really wasn't worth the trip to that particular location. Here, everything is very consistent, more or less, and all concentrated in one building. The building itself is, without a doubt, quite charming. I was particularly taken with this democratic format in terms of how the exhibition's organized, with different participants spread across the floors, and of course, the involvement of both visitors and, naturally, the designers themselves, regardless of their caliber. I think if you're planning a trip to Rotterdam, it makes sense to adjust your travel plans accordingly, so that when next year rolls around, you can make sure to catch this brilliant event. And of course, combine it with an architectural walk, because Rotterdam is truly fascinating in that respect. It's one of the most experimental cities in terms of architecture. It's quite literally a park of contemporary architecture. And we'll talk more about that in my review on the Travel Channel. So if you haven't subscribed to the Travel Channel yet, do subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to this channel either, make sure you do, because this is not the last design event. We'll be visiting many more this year and talking about all things beautiful. Give this video a like and share it with your friends. And if you have a spare moment, leave a lovely and thoughtful comment. That's all for now. See you in the next one.